The disabled billionaire sat alone in his silent room, his world once filled with laughter, now echoing only with painful memories of loss. His expensive suit couldn't hide the emptiness in his eyes as tears rolled down slowly, carrying years of regret he could never undo. Before we dive in, let us know in the comments what time is it and where are you watching from. Let's start. Every corner of the house reminded him of his family. The voices that once called his name now replaced by a heavy, unbearable silence. He had everything money could buy, yet nothing that truly mattered remained, and that truth crushed his heart more each passing day. People feared him, respected him, but no one truly knew the pain he carried, hidden behind power, pride, and unspoken guilt. His wheelchair stood still, but his mind kept running back to the past, replaying moments he wished he could change forever. He blamed himself for everything, for being too busy, too cold, too late to fix what really mattered in life. That day felt no different, just another long, lonely evening drowning in memories he couldn't escape no matter how hard he tried. But something unexpected was about to happen, something small yet powerful enough to shake the walls he built around his heart. A new maid had just arrived, quiet and unnoticed, stepping into a house filled with sadness she didn't yet understand. And without knowing it, she was about to change a broken man's life in a way no wealth or power ever could. The new maid moved quietly through the grand house, her presence gentle, her eyes observing the silence that felt heavier than walls. She noticed the untouched dinner, the dim lights, and the way sadness lingered in every room like a story waiting to be told. When she first saw him, sitting still in his wheelchair, she didn't see power or wealth. She saw a man completely broken inside. He didn't look at her, didn't speak, as if the world around him no longer deserved his attention or energy anymore. Most workers kept their distance, doing only what they were told, but something in her heart refused to ignore his pain. She softly greeted him, her voice calm and respectful, but he gave no response, his silence louder than any harsh words. Instead of leaving like others would, she stayed for a moment longer, sensing that his loneliness needed more than routine service. His hand trembled slightly, and she noticed the tears he tried so hard to hide, as if showing weakness was still forbidden. That single moment told her everything. This was not just sadness. This was a man drowning in regret and lost memories. She didn't ask questions, didn't intrude, but her expression changed, filled with quiet understanding and deep human compassion. For the first time in a long while, someone looked at him, not with fear or duty, but with genuine concern and care. And though he didn't realize it yet, her silent presence had already begun to disturb the loneliness that surrounded him. The room remained quiet, but something had shifted, a subtle change that even the broken man could feel deep within his heavy heart. She gently stepped closer, not rushing, not forcing anything, respecting his space while still refusing to let him stay unseen. Her eyes softened as she saw his pain clearly now, not judging him, not fearing him, just understanding him as a human being. Instead of speaking, she slowly placed her hand on his shoulder, a simple touch filled with warmth he hadn't felt in years. He flinched at first, surprised, as if he had forgotten what kindness without intention or gain even felt like anymore. Tears fell more freely now, his hand covering his face, unable to hide the emotions that were breaking through his control. She didn't remove her hand, didn't say empty words, she just stayed there, offering silent support in the purest form. That moment felt different, not like sympathy, but something deeper, something that reached a place he had locked away. His breathing grew heavy as memories rushed back, but this time he wasn't facing them completely alone like before. For the first time since losing his family, someone stood beside him, not because they had to, but because they chose to. He slowly lowered his hand, his eyes meeting hers briefly, searching for judgment, but finding only calm reassurance instead. And in that fragile exchange, a small crack formed in the walls he had built around his broken, guarded heart. He tried to pull himself together, wiping his tears quickly, but his trembling hands revealed the storm still raging deep inside him. She noticed everything, every small detail, yet she chose not to expose his weakness, instead protecting his dignity with quiet respect. Instead of stepping away like others always did, she gently adjusted the cushion behind him, a small act that carried unexpected warmth. He watched her this time, confused, as no one had ever cared in such a simple human way without expecting anything in return. Her movements were calm and steady, as if she understood that true healing doesn't come from words, but from presence and patience. The silence between them no longer felt heavy or suffocating. It felt different now, like something inside him slowly breathing again. He finally spoke, his voice low and broken, asking why she didn't just do her job and leave like everyone else always did. She paused for a moment, then answered softly, saying, "Some pain deserves to be seen, not ignored or buried deep forever." Her words hit him deeply, not because they were powerful, but because they were true in a way he could no longer deny. For years he had hidden behind power and pride, believing no one truly cared. Yet here she was, proving him wrong effortlessly. His eyes softened slightly, the anger fading away, replaced by a quiet confusion that slowly turned into acceptance. And for the first time in a long while, he didn't feel completely alone in the world he had built around his endless sorrow. That night felt different, as if something invisible had shifted, quietly breaking the endless routine of silence that once ruled his life completely. He sat there longer than usual, not lost in pain this time, but deeply thinking about the maid's words and her calm, comforting presence. No one had ever spoken to him like that before, not with honesty, not with genuine care, and certainly not without fear or hidden intention. The memory of her gentle touch stayed with him, reminding him of something pure he believed he had lost forever in his past. For the first time in years, he didn't rush to escape his thoughts, instead allowing them to come, facing them without running away. She returned later with tea, placing it beside him softly, her actions natural and calm, as if nothing unusual had happened earlier. He looked at the cup, then slowly at her, and this time he didn't turn away, a small but deeply meaningful change in him.
You don't have to turn around.
His voice was still weak and unfamiliar, but he thanked her sincerely, a simple word that hadn't left his lips in a very long time. She gave a small nod, not making it a big moment, respecting his pace and understanding that true healing always takes time. That quiet exchange carried more meaning than any grand gesture. It marked the beginning of something real and unexpectedly powerful. He held the cup, his hands steady now, feeling a strange warmth that wasn't just from the tea, but from somewhere deep inside. And deep within his heart, a question formed, one he hadn't dared to ask in years. What if life still had something left for him? The next morning felt unfamiliar, not because anything outside had changed, but because something deep inside him had quietly awakened overnight. He noticed the sunlight entering the room, something he once ignored completely, now feeling its warmth as if seeing it for the very first time. For years, his world had remained dark, even in daylight. But today, the shadows didn't feel as heavy or suffocating as before. When the maid entered, she greeted him softly again, and this time he responded without hesitation, surprising even his own expectations. Her calm smile didn't celebrate the moment loudly, but it gently acknowledged it, giving him space to grow without pressure. She began arranging the room, but her presence no longer felt distant or formal. It felt like a quiet support he didn't want to lose. He watched her carefully, noticing how she moved with purpose, never wasting energy, never forcing attention onto herself. Something about her reminded him of a life he once lived, simple and real, filled with meaning beyond money, power, and status. He finally asked her name, his voice steady, as if taking another small but meaningful step toward a world he left behind long ago. She answered gently, and in that moment, she was no longer just a worker in his house. She became someone real in his life. The distance between them slowly faded, replaced by a fragile connection built not on words, but on silent understanding. And without even realizing it, he had begun to look forward to something again, something as simple as her presence each day. Days passed quietly, but each moment carried a change, small yet meaningful, slowly rebuilding the parts of him he thought were gone forever. He no longer stayed locked in silence all day, sometimes asking simple questions, sometimes just sitting without running away from himself. She never forced conversations or emotions, but whenever he spoke, she listened fully, giving his words the value they always deserved. One evening, he finally opened up, not completely, but enough to reveal the heavy burden he had carried alone for so many years. He spoke about his family, his regrets, and the choices that slowly took him away from the people who truly mattered most. His voice broke again, but this time he didn't hide it. He allowed himself to feel everything without shame or fear of judgment. She stood beside him quietly, not interrupting, allowing him to release the pain that had been trapped inside for far too long. When he finished speaking, the silence returned, but it wasn't empty anymore. It was filled with understanding and quiet healing. For the first time, he didn't feel weak for crying. He felt human again, something he had forgotten while chasing endless success. She gently handed him a handkerchief, a simple act, yet it carried more comfort than anything his wealth had ever bought him. He looked at her with real gratitude, not as a billionaire, but as a man who had finally been seen, heard, and understood. And in that moment, he realized that healing had already begun, not through power or money, but through connection and care. That night, he sat quietly, not broken anymore, but thoughtful, as if seeing his life from a clearer and more honest place than ever before. He looked around the room, once filled with pain and silence, now slowly transforming into a space where he could finally breathe again. The maid stood near the door, ready to leave for the night, but something in his expression made her pause for just a moment longer. He called her softly, not as a boss giving orders, but as someone who didn't want this rare moment of connection to simply end. With visible effort, he moved his wheelchair slightly forward, his actions slow, but filled with a new and quiet determination. He thanked her again, but this time his words carried deeper meaning, filled with sincerity, gratitude, and emotions he could no longer hide. She nodded gently, her eyes calm and understanding, as if she always believed he would one day find his way back to himself. For the first time in years, a faint but genuine smile appeared on his face, not perfect, but real enough to change everything inside him. The past was still there, the loss still real and painful, but it no longer controlled every part of his present or his future anymore. He understood now that healing doesn't erase pain. It teaches you how to live with it without losing yourself completely along the way. In that quiet moment, he realized her presence didn't fix his past, but it gave him the strength to face tomorrow with courage again. The story ends here, but the mystery lives on. Like, subscribe, and return for the next unforgettable journey.